Good morning, everybody. Dr. Duc Vuong here. I want to explain to you in very simple terms how the coronavirus actually kills and how it's different than the regular influenza, right? The regular flu, and why you guys need to take this seriously. So please, please, please share this video with your loved ones who are still not taking this coronavirus seriously. Please share it with your mom, your grandmom, your grandparents, and explain to them why this is different, all right? Sit them down and have them watch this video with me. Okay, so first of all, I want to give you some numbers updates. Today is March 18th. So it's literally been 1 week, March 11th, the World Health Organization declared coronavirus a pandemic. At that time, March 11th, we had 1,600 cases of coronavirus in America. Today, March 18th, there's a doubling time of 4 days. 4 not, right? So 4 days are not. So today's been a week. Today we have 5,800 cases in America. We started at 1,600, now we have 5,800, right? So if it's every 4 days, tomorrow will be the 8th day, right? 1,600, 3,200, and 6,400. So by tomorrow, we should have 6,400 cases. March 19th. I predict we'll have about 7,000 cases. 7,000 cases of coronavirus, which means 4 days from now, from tomorrow, March 23rd, so next Monday, I predict we're going to have 14,000 or more cases. 14,000, right? And with a death rate of about 3%, 14,000 times 3% is 420 deaths. Today, we are a little over 100 deaths. So in 4 days, we're going to go from a little over 100 deaths to 400 deaths, approximately, by Sunday, Monday, all right? This is really astonishing. This is really terrifying. Now, why am I telling you this? It's because I need to explain to you guys how the coronavirus kills and how it's different from the influenza. All right, how are we going to get to these numbers, these death numbers? So first of all, coronavirus is a group of viruses that have existed for a long time. We've known about them. So this coronavirus is called novel or new. The actual virus itself is SARS, S-A-R-S, CoV, C-O-V-2. That's the actual virus. And the disease you're going to catch is called COVID-19, C-O-V-I-D, coronavirus disease 19 for 2019, the year it was diagnosed. Okay, so that's the disease. Now, how does it kill? The problem is people think this COVID-19 disease is like catching the flu, and it's not. Oh, how is this? This is just, I hear it's just a worse case of flu. It is for about 80% of the people who catch it. Now, remember, this is a novel virus that's new, which means there is no immunity. Everybody who comes in contact with this will catch it, will develop symptoms. Everybody, even Dr. V. I have a very strong immune system. I'm young, I'm healthy, I don't have any comorbidities, but I will still have, if I come in contact with it, I will get sick, which means I'll have flu-like symptoms, and hopefully it won't get worse. That's 80% of the people. You are absolutely correct if you think that this is, most people will recover. Absolutely. 80% will have flu-like symptoms, and that's about it. The other 20% will get a lot sicker, with 10% of people requiring hospitalization. So if we have 1 million cases, that means 10% of them are going to need a hospitalization. That's 100,000 people who are going to need hospitalization. Now, of those 100,000 people who need hospitalization, about half of them are going to need to be in the ICU. That's 50,000 people in the ICU. Let me tell you, we don't have that many ICU beds. We don't have that many ICU beds, okay? And then of those, half of those are going to need to be on ventilators, breathing machines. And here's coming to the point, right? Why do they need breathing machines? This is how coronavirus is going to kill, okay? When you contract coronavirus, 80% are going to develop the flu, all right? But how do you die? So this circle here is death. The bridge from regular flu-like symptoms to death is this. It's pneumonia. Coronavirus kills you through a pneumonia process. It's called acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. Basically, if you are high risk, susceptible patient, you're older, over 60, you have comorbidities like diabetes, you have restrictive lung disease, sleep apnea, high blood pressure. And in America, it's going to be morbid obesity, right? Because this is our lung function. The morbidly obese have reduced lung function. It's harder for you guys to walk long distances. It's harder for you guys to breathe. A lot of you guys have restrictive lung disease. A lot of you guys can't walk 2, 3, 4 blocks, can't walk up a flight of stairs. So this extra weight is going to push down on your lungs, and it's going to cause you more likely, not definitely, but more likely to go into pneumonia. Now, when you go into pneumonia, this is going to be the bridge. Flu, death. The bridge is pneumonia. And it's through a process called ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome. So coronavirus kills through pneumonia, guys. So if you're at high, and no, the pneumonia vaccine that your doctor gave you, it does not cover coronavirus. That's for streptococcal, most likely, is the one you got. So if you had a pneumonia vaccine, this is completely different. So tag, share, tell your grandparents, your mom, who thinks that she's protected because she had the pneumovax vaccine. It's not the same. It will not protect you. So then what happens is, if you're one of these unlucky people and your flu-like symptoms gets worse, and this is why if you start having respiratory distress, how you can't breathe, it's harder for you to walk across the room, that's when you need to call your doctor's office, and most likely they're going to tell you to go to the emergency room. Now, when you go to the hospital or the emergency room, what you're going to start seeing very, very soon, if you haven't already started seeing, is that the hospitals are going to put up outside tents, these pop-up tents, only for suspected coronavirus people, because they got to isolate the hospital, regular hospital, from coronavirus, okay? So you're going to see pop-up tents. So put a comment if you already starting to see this, that your hospital have announced like pop-up tents, a separate unit, a separate place for coronavirus patients to go to. Comment if you've already seen that in your hospitals. Okay, because we got to isolate them. Remember, the coronavirus epidemic is a +1. It's in addition to all the other regular medical stuff that's going on, in addition to trauma, in addition to cancer treatments, in addition to heart attacks, in addition to car wrecks, in addition to sprains and falls and broken bones and stuff like skiing accidents, right? In addition to all that stuff, heart attacks, strokes, you have this epidemic, and it's going to break us, okay? So if 10% of the people who have coronavirus needs to get hospitalized, it's going to overwhelm the system. We don't have enough respirators. So how does the coronavirus kills? It's those high-risk patients are going to develop pneumonia. Now, once you develop pneumonia, that's when this is where the doctors are trying to treat you. So they're going to support you. Dr. Vuong, if you catch it, the doctors are going to try to support you by giving you IV fluids, so keep you nice and hydrated. Okay, they're going to give you breathing treatments if you need things to expand. All right, expand and open up your lungs. All right, the current treatment is to give you IV steroids. Methylprednisolone is the most common one that's being used. Is methyl. I don't expect you to remember this, but IV steroids, methylprednisolone, seems to be, it doesn't fight the virus. Let me tell you. So it doesn't help you to go get a steroid shot. Don't call your doctor and say, this is once you've already contracted pneumonia and you're having trouble breathing. Your doctor's going to put you in the hospital. You're going to get IV fluids. You're going to get oxygen. And you've seen the videos, maybe you've had oxygen on here like this. They're going to give you IV steroids called methylprednisolone. Seems to be the best supportive treatment. So in this case, to keep your ass alive, there is no treatment for coronavirus. All we can do is support you to help you get over this pneumonia. So the doctor will then probably CAT scan you or take x-rays of your chest and lungs to see how the pneumonia is progressing, and make sure it doesn't turn into regular pneumonia, into ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome. What happens in that process? Well, your lungs are going to start filling up with fluid so that it's hard for you to breathe. And it's actually not the air spaces, the air sacs where you breathe, where the oxygen gets exchanged. It's actually what's called the interstitial space. This is the space between the alveoli. That space gets filled up with fluid. So imagine if you have one of those sponges, and it's, and your lung naturally kind of breathes easily like this, but then if you dip that sponge into a bowl of water because you're trying to clean off your countertops, right? What happens to that sponge? It fills up with fluid, and then it doesn't contract really easily. And so you need to be able to squeeze out that fluid, and that's how your lungs get back to normal. So that process happens not because we give you something that helps with it. It's because we have to support you through this time period when it's hard for you to breathe. Okay? And we do that by giving you these oxygen, IV steroids, and if necessary, put you on a breathing machine. That's a ventilator. Why do you need to start panicking about this coronavirus much more seriously? We don't have enough respirators, y'all. We don't have enough ventilation machines. If you get to this point, we are going to run out of ventilating machines. Seattle, the center of the outbreak in the United States, they have a shortage of ventilation machines. We're having to bring in ventilation machines from elsewhere. Okay, now if you have this in New York City, which has surpassed Washington State, they have over 1,300 cases now in New York City, right? When I did the broadcast 5 days ago, they only had 500 cases. And now, 4 days ago, they only had 500 cases. Now there are over 1,300 cases. You're going to overwhelm the system, okay? So we can only support you. The most extreme support is we put a breathing tube down your throat. We induce you into a coma. That means we knock you out so that way you're comfortable and you don't fight the breathing machine as we buck it, you don't buck the breathing machine, you're comfortable. And we let your lungs rest and we breathe for you. We give you these very high dose steroids. Dr. Vuong, what about antibiotics? Will antibiotics help? No, because this is a virus. Antibiotics don't work on viruses, they work on bacteria. You might start getting antibiotics if your case has progressed so badly that you develop infections. You develop Klebsiella. You develop other types of infections from your trachea and then your doctor might have to put you on antibiotics for that, for secondary infections or secondary pneumonias, but it doesn't treat the actual coronavirus. You have to let it run its course. Now, this is where it gets really morbid, guys. You can't believe the Chinese data. I'm telling you. I know the data says 80,000 cases in China. Now, let me ask you this question. Why are we not seeing more numbers come out of China? It's because they've shut it down. The Italian colleagues, you have to fall in line with the Italian data. So the Italian data, outside of China, Italy has the most number of cases, okay? And you can project how their curve is going, how the number of cases is going, how the deaths are going. The death rates in Italy are very high. We're looking at 5 to 6% death rate. I quoted you a 3% death rate. Italy is seeing a 5 to 6% death rate. It's very scary, guys. And now they've run out of ventilators. And now they've declared that if you are over 80 years old, comment if you have a grandmother, grandparent, a mom or dad who are 80 years old or older. 80 is not that old anymore. If you are over 80 and you contract coronavirus, Italy has decided to not put you on a respirator. And I promise you, the last thing that your doctor wants to do is to become your judge, jury, and executioner. We do not want to have to decide these death experiences, guys. We want you to live a long time. We want you to stay healthy. That's our jobs. So what I'm telling you is you got to take this coronavirus stuff very seriously, all right? San Francisco has declared has quarantined the entire city. You are supposed to stay home. Don't go out. No bars, no restaurants, nothing. You have to stay home. Take it very seriously. My friend in Long Beach, California, outside of LA, has just told me that they have also instituted quarantine. Comment if your city or state have instituted quarantine. I live in Houston. We don't have it yet, but I'm telling you, the bars are closed. The restaurants are closed. They are only pickup and delivery only, right? That's Houston. And we only have 80 cases in Houston. We might be over 100 now. We only have one death. Oh, I think we surpassed 100. 100 cases in Texas and one death in the state of Texas. And they've already learning to institute this, right? You're going to start seeing, pay attention to me now. Pay attention. This is important. The number of cases in Florida are going to increase. Why? Right now, they're only 5th or 6th. Florida. Who lives in Florida? Old people. Think about that. Old, obese people live in Florida. They're at very high risk. They think, it's warmer temperatures down there. It's 80 degrees. Coronavirus won't hurt me. Can't live in warm heat. This coronavirus is starting to show us that it can live in warm temperatures. Not super warm temperatures. The only countries not affected by the coronavirus currently are a few countries in sub-Saharan Africa, right? Where it's really hot right now because it's their summer. But we're seeing it in South America, Brazil, all sorts, every country. You're going to have devastation if we don't start taking this much more seriously, right? I'm not a fearmonger. Fuck you if you think I'm a fearmonger. I'm giving you, even if you think I'm a fearmonger, please share this video. I love you. I want you to stay healthy. I know if you don't like Dr. V, just know I love you and I want you to stay healthy. Share the fuck out of this video. This is the missing bridge. I'll say it again for those of you just joining. The bridge between influenza, if you contract, everybody is going to catch coronavirus because there's no herd immunity. If you are exposed to coronavirus, you are going to catch it. You're going to get sick. 80% of people, thank goodness, will have some form of flu-like symptoms. That's 80%. That's this circle. 80% flu-like symptoms. All right? But there's a 3% death rate, 5 to 6% in Italy. So how do you get from flu-like symptoms to death? People are like, I've had the flu. This is just a mild form of the flu. That's not how coronavirus kills you. How does coronavirus kill? There's a bridge to death. That bridge is pneumonia. Coronavirus causes something called ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome. Your lungs will, if you develop pneumonia, you are in trouble. You will quickly fill up with, your lungs will quickly fill up with fluid. Your lungs will, you will go from hey, I'm having trouble breathing. I'm having trouble walking to my bathroom. Dude, you gotta call your doctor. You gotta go to these pop-up tents that are gonna start coming up to take care of coronavirus patients, right? I'm telling you this to be prepared. Be prepared because you're not gonna go to a regular hospital. You will, but they're gonna put you in a tent outside. You don't get pissed off. Don't be angry because they're trying to protect the regular staff, okay? And what happens is if you develop pneumonia, we have to watch you very seriously, carefully, to make sure you don't start developing ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome. And that's how coronavirus kills. The bridge from flu-like symptoms to death is pneumonia. And no, the pneumonia vaccine will not help you. If you had a pneumonia shot, it does not cover this. Guys, pay attention. So tag your grandmother, your mom, who are still smoking, who still are not taking this seriously, who still are angry that the restaurants are closing, that schools are closing. You got to tag them. Yes, thank you. Put that in the comments section. The pneumonia is the bridge that kills you. So don't catch pneumonia. So what's going to happen is if you have a friend or loved one who's has high fevers, has this dry cough, but they're still too stubborn. They still think I'm going to get over this. And then they call you and I'm having trouble breathing. If they say, hey, I walked across yesterday I could go upstairs, but today I can't. I can't make it up to my bedroom. And then I'm getting short of breath if I try to go upstairs. No big deal. I'll sleep on the couch tonight. No, tell them, no, you got to go in. And then they wake up the next morning after sleeping on the couch, and they're like, man, I got short of breath walking, across the house to the kitchen. You're like, no, you got to go to the hospital. And then I go, you know what? I'm having trouble, like I'm losing my breath getting off the toilet. Dude, call 911, like go, because what happens is exponentially you're going to decline. You get in, you get diagnosed, and you go from pneumonia to ARDS really fast. Look at me, watch me, really fast. And when you get to that point, when your breathing becomes really labored and heavy, the doctors know you're fucked. They're not going to say you're fucked. They're going to say, okay, this is what's going to happen. They're going to say, Miss Jones, pay attention now. This is really morbid because I've had to do this a lot in my career. Miss Jones, you're having trouble breathing. We are concerned that you're not going to be able to keep up with your breathing demands. So what we suggest is we're going to put a breathing tube inside your throat so that way we can breathe for you and let your lungs rest. So we can help you through this period. And if we don't do this now, we're afraid, here's the phrase I use, that you're going to tire out. The second you hear your doctor say, we're worried you're going to tire out your breathing. Oh. I love y'all so much. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? The worst things that we have to do as physicians is to tell people you're going to tire out. We're worried about you. We're not. And we're going to have to make this decision in the very next week, coming up this next week, where we are going to have to say, Miss Jones, you don't meet criteria. You're too old. We don't have enough breathing machines to put you on this breathing machine. And now what's going to happen is the doctor has to go tell the family members, your grandmother's going to die. Your mom's going to die because we don't have enough breathing machines. And the grandbabies are not going to understand. The 20-year-old, the millennials are going to get angry at the physicians who are just trying to do their jobs because y'all don't take this seriously enough. This is such an important video. If I could help y'all understand, wake up, what's going to happen, how does the coronavirus kill? It's not flu-like symptoms. It's because you're going to contract pneumonia, because you're obese, you're older, you're diabetic. You haven't taken care of your lungs. You've been smoking. You've had, honestly, if you've had a stroke, a small stroke, you're at high risk. The data is showing these are the people that are at risk for dying from coronavirus. Diabetics, if you've had a stroke, if you're older, if you're overweight, if you're obese. And remember, the average time on a ventilator is 2 weeks. So you're gonna tie up an ICU bed and a ventilation machine for 2 weeks while the number of cases keep going up and other people are getting sick and other people need to be intubated and other people, listen, I'm not trying to add to the hype. I'm trying to wake you up to understand this is the facts. These are the facts. This is the truth of what's going to happen. And God bless our doctors. God bless our ICU nurses. People are stealing masks and gloves. We are running out of personal protection equipment. These nurses, these phlebotomists, these medical assistants, these CNAs, these doctors who are trying to take care of your loved ones, and people are stealing their personal protection equipment, their gloves and gowns and masks. And guess what? These doctors and nurses and loved ones, these phlebotomists, they have to go home to their kids. They have family too. They don't get to self-quarantine. They have to go. When you call 911 because you did not listen to me, those people have to go. They have to come pick your ass up, take you to the hospital, finish their shift. We are already seeing people working 100-hour shifts, 100-hour weeks now, because we are running out of nursing staff in places like Washington. How dare you not take this more seriously? How dare you keep posting stupid memes? How dare you, think that this is a political thing, a religious thing? Dude, fuck you and your agenda. I'm telling you, this is what's going to be happening. And not like next week, guys. The numbers are astounding. We are falling in line with Italian data. The United States is worse than the Italian data. Italy is 2 weeks ahead of us. Italy is completely on shutdown. They're out of ventilators. They're telling 80-year-old people with coronavirus, we are not going to intubate you. We're not going to put you in a breathing machine. They've already made that decision. They are 2 weeks ahead of us of where we are. Compared to where Italy was 2 weeks ago, where we are today, we are worse than Italy. Y'all listen to me. We are worse than Italy. Even though we canceled the NBA season, the hockey league, we canceled spring baseball opening, we canceled your concerts, we canceled school, we canceled all your events, and everybody's pissed off. We closed off restaurants, we closed down bars, we've shut down San Francisco, we've shut down Long Beach, Orange County. We are worse than Italy. We are behind Italy compared to where they were 2 weeks ago. If this video does not convince you, I don't know what else to do for you. I just don't know how else to say it. Hit share, hit like, tag somebody, spread this message. I love you guys very much. See you tomorrow for my update. Bye.